All right, Math 6. So this is finding the whole if you have a percent and you know the part. So this is like, what did you start with? What the percent of whatever you started with gives you the part. So we're going to use this formula called part equals the percent as a decimal times the whole. And we're going to be able to figure that out every time for everything we're doing if we're using that formula. So the part is always going to be what we're talking about. The is. Usually it's preceded in a question by is. The whole is usually of what number. So, and then 70%, of course, is the percent. So my percent is 70. So I'm going to write that as a decimal. My part is 35. My whole is what I'm missing. So the part is 35. So 35 equals the percent, 0.70, times the whole that I'm missing. So that's n. So I've just set up an equation here. And I need to solve for n. So I'm going to take the coefficient and divide both sides by 0.70. I'm going to plug that into my calculator as 35 divided by 0.7. And I got 50. So the whole is 50. The second one says 21 is 3% of what number? So again, I'm missing the whole. I know that my part is 21. My percent is 3%, so that's 0.03. And my whole is what I'm missing. So I'm going to use my formula. Part equals percent times whole. 21 equals 0.03 n. So to solve, I'm going to divide both sides by 0.03. And that's going to give me a really big number. It's going to be 700. When I punch that in my calculator, 21 divided by 0.03. All right, the next one. I need to write the part, the percent, and the whole. 70%, well, that's my percent, 0.70. I'm missing my whole because it says of what number is 35. That means 35 is the part. So part 35 equals the percent, 0.70, times the whole that I don't know, which is n. So let's divide both sides by 0.7 or 0.70, same thing. So that means I'm going to get 50. That was just the same problem as the first one, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Okay, next one. Part, percent, and whole. 27 is 30% of what number? So 27 is my part. 30% is my percent, so 0.3 or 0.30. Whole is missing. So let's write the equation. 27 equals 0.30 n. We'll divide both sides by 0.3. So plug that into your calculator. 27 divided by 0.3. I got n equals 90. So we can use that same equation, part equals percent times whole, on word problems, which is the nice thing. So first one says Maria sold 50 books, or 40% of her book collection at a yard sale. How many books were in Maria's collection? Well, 40% was right here, which that would be 0.4 or 0.40. The part is what she sold, the book she sold. The N is her whole collection because she still has books left, which she must have had a lot of books. So we're going to use our equation, part equals percent times whole. 50 equals 0.40 times N. We'll divide both sides by 0.4. So 50 divided by 0.4 equals 125. So she had 125 books. Okay, next one. Horatio recorded the daily high temperatures. On 66 days, the high temperature was greater than 88 degrees Fahrenheit. This was 75% of the days Horatio recorded. How many days did he record the temperature for? They went and threw an extra number in here. So we don't need to use 88 because that's just telling us it's part of the story. So I'm just going to cross it out. 66 days was the part. 75% was the percent. And the whole is what we're missing. So my percent is a decimal, 0.75. And let's write our equation. Part equals percent, that's a decimal, times the whole. So remember, now we're still trying to solve for n. So we're going to divide both sides by 0.75. So let's punch that in. So 66 divided by 0.75. All right, I got 88. So I'm going to say 88 days. All right, last two. The number of students in a band that play the guitar is 2, or 20% of the students in the band. How many students are in the band? So 2 is our part, 20% is our percent. We're missing the whole. Let's write our equation. Part 2 equals percent as a decimal, 0.2 or 0.20 times n. Part equals percent times whole. So now let's divide by 0.2 or 0.20, same thing. So 2 divided by 0.02. I got 100. But that doesn't seem right. It's not, because I did punch in the wrong number. Back up. So 2 divided by 0.2. 10. That makes more sense. Ten students. The reason I figured that out is because if there were 100 students in the band, 20% wouldn't be 2. It'd be 2%. So using some good judgment and number sense can really help sometimes. All right, Kenneth's Coffee has regular coffee and decaffeinated coffee. This morning, the cafe served 5 regular coffees, which was 10% of the total number of coffees sold. How many did they sell? Well, 5 is the part. 10%, which is 0.1 or 0.10, is the percent and is the whole. Let's write our equation. Part equals the percent times the whole. We'll put n. Divide both sides by 0.10. So 5 divided by 0.1 is 50. So 50 coffees. Okay, what I want you to do when you start your worksheet is I want you to write at the top, and for every problem, part equals percent times the whole. Part equals percent times whole. Okay? All right. Thanks, guys.